I'm not the bad guy, I'm just a bit surprising. It's not worth losing sleep, it's not worth analyzing.
What is up, guys? Golden Freddy here, and welcome back to the read from that of Silver Eyes. Where we last left off is that is when Charlie was going back in her childhood and her neighborhood at the house where she grew up with her father. We don't know what happened to her father because she had to leave with her aunt. So we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened to their father. Alright. We're actually going to finish the chapter today. Now, I can interrupt the reading that much this time. And this series might get rebooted. I will redo it. And with that, it's just going to be all one big thing. Oh my god. I'm checking out something. Sorry. Be patient. Yeah, we might just get through chapter 1 today. Anyway. Because that's how many there are, she said finally. She pointed defensively to the little one. This one. That one's Ellis. Anyway, she added. John nodded, satisfied. Charlie took her head and opened the door to the middle closet, or tried to. The knob stopped with a jolt. It was locked. She rattled it a few times, but gave up. Without much conviction, she stayed crouched low on the floor and glanced up at the tallest closet, her big girl closet, that she would someday grow into. You won't need it until you're bigger, her father would say. But that day never came. The door now hung open slightly, but Charlie didn't disturb it. It hadn't opened for her. It had only given way to time. As she moved to stand, she noticed something shiny, half hidden under the rim of the locked middle door. She leaned forward to pick it up. It looked like a broken off piece of a circuit board. She smiled slightly. Nuts, bolts, scraps, and parts had turned up all over the place. Once upon a time, her father had stray parts in his pockets. They would carry something he was working on around, set it down. He was working on around, set it down and forget where it was, or worse, but something aside for safekeeping, never to be seen again. There was also a strand of her hair clinging to it. She unwound it carefully from the tiny lip of metal it was stuck on. Finally, as though she had been putting it off, Charlie crossed the room and picked up Theodore. His back had not faded into the sun like in the front of his body, and it was the same rich dark purple she remembered. She pressed the button at the base of his neck, but he remained lifeless. His fur was threadbare, one ear hanging loose by a single riding thread, and through the hole she could see the green plastic of his circuit board. Charlie held her breath, listening fearfully for something. Ow, lie, the rabbit said, with barely above halting noise, and Charlie set him down, her face hot and her chest pinched tight. She had not really expected to hear her father's voice again. I love you too. Charlie looked around the room as a child. It had been her own magical world. She was positive of it. Only a few chosen friends were ever even allowed inside. She went into her bed and sat Stanley moving on his track again. She left closing the door behind her before the little unicorn came to a halt. She went out the back door to drive away and stopped in the front of the garage. She had been her father's workshop, half buried in the gravel and a few feet away with a piece of metal, and Charlie went to pick it up. It was jointed in the middle, and she held it into her hands, smiling and a little as she bent it back and forth, an elbow joint. She thought, I wonder who that was going to belong to. She had stood in the exact spot many times before she closed her eyes, and the memory overwhelmed her. She was a little girl again, sitting on the floor of her father's workshop, playing with scraps of wood and metal as though they were toys blocks, trying to build a tower with uneven pieces. The shop was hot, and she was sweaty, grim, sticking out her legs as she sat in her shorts and sneakers. She could almost smell sharp metallic odor of the soldering iron. Her father was nearby, never out of sight, working on Stanley the unicorn. Stanley's face was still unfinished. On one side, white and shiny and friendly, with a gleaming brown eye that seemed almost to see. But the other half of the toy's face was all exposed, circuit boards and metal parts. Charlie's father looked at her and smiled, and she smiled back, beloved in a darkened corner behind her father barely. Visible hung a jumble of metal lamps, a twisted skeleton with burning silver eyes. Every once in a while, it gave an uneasy twitch. Charlie tried to never took to look at it, but as her father worked, as she played with her makeshift toys, her eyes drawn back to it again and again. The lamps crunted seemed almost mocking. The thing as ghastly Chester, and yet there was something about it that suggested enormous pain. Daddy, Charlie said, and her father did not look up from his work. Daddy, she said again, more urgently, and this time he turned to her slowly, as not fully present in the world. What do you need, sweetie? She pointed at the metal skeleton. Does it hurt? She wanted to ask the question, but when he looked into her father's eyes, she found that she could not. She shook her head. Nothing. He nodded at her with an absent smile and went back to his work. Behind him, the creature gave another awful twitch, and its eyes still burned. Charlie shivered and drew herself back to her present. She glanced behind her, feeling exposed. She looked down, and her gaze. I'm gonna read 16 and 17, and we're gonna end the video here. Actually, no. That is all I'm gonna read for today, folks. But the video's not over yet. I have some words of my own to say. That we need to talk. And I read a comment last night says R.I.P. I hope. Comment on the end of the selfie video that I redo. And guys, you know what to do. I will bring them back. You guys need to just suggest me what series and what things to do to cancel and delete and stop doing. Please. That would be useful, and I had to take on off the series, and you guys all like the other series, especially the selfie video, but I had to get rid of one. And so I gave up the silverv, gave up the selfie video. So come that was the season finale. The series finale. But you guys know what to do. Like, tell me what you guys want to do. Tell me what stuff I should do. Like, give me that stuff. Give me information. I need to know that stuff, please. Oh, wait a second. If you look in the background, you can see Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. Kinda cool, huh? Hold on, let me look at my book. Oh yeah, you do see them. It's very hard to see them in the book, in the book, but if you look here, it's easier to see them. But I'm gonna be. Oh yeah. Oh, it was so funny when I played that other game, that weird game yesterday. Another game that Scott off with me, and it's like I talked to my friends, and I was saying this. Wait, what? Saying this. Oh, I was wondering why. How did Scott come out with the series of Five Nights at Freddy's? And that's what I said. The origin, the game before Five Nights at Freddy's. Because if you look at them, they look really creepy. They really do look like kind of animatronics. Sorry, nose is stuffy. Trying to little fight something. I don't know. Find my allergies right now. But it's kind of like that. And that's how Five Nights at Freddy was born. That's like when I put it like that. That game really is creepy. And it seems fun, but it just seems a little bit difficult too. But anyways, there will be more. This is not the end, my friend. There is still more to the book. There's a lot more. But anyways, I'll see you guys. And wait. I remember that I would talk to you guys about my theories in the book. So, remember when I told you that this location was connected to Silver Eyes? And, sorry, I'm trying to put my stuff away. Put the book away. Put it away safely for nothing won't get damaged. And I'm thinking about that chips that Charlie found. I bet it's baby. Because I remember in FNAF 4 when I beat it, is that it was, by the time you see a guy saying is please leave me, and by the time you get back, you see him dead in his home. So I'm thinking it could baby killed him because he wanted her to. Like a hope would kill her. And the Glimsy, that shook an animatronic sounds like that weird mangle thing. Sounds like her with her, like one eye, her silver eye, and the other white, and the other part, all you can see is the circuits in that. It sounds like her. Anyways, tell me what you guys think too in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!